K-pop lovers. Welcome back to K-pop News, the home of the most touching, inspiring, and surprising stories from the world of Korean entertainment. In the restless world of Korean entertainment, where rumors travel faster than light and speculation often morphs into storms overnight, sometimes it is the quietest moments that carry the loudest weight. Not a scandal, not a controversy, but a single word, one that echoes softly, yet pierces deeply through millions of hearts. Moon. The word slipped from Jungkook's lips during a live broadcast that, at first, seemed just like any other. He sat before the camera in a simple black hoodie, the warm light casting a soft glow on his face. That night, he wasn't trying to make headlines. He simply wanted to talk about music, about creativity, about the feelings that songs sometimes carry better than words ever could. But amid the casual laughter and the quiet musings, he mentioned one song. And that single mention changed everything. Moon, he said with a faint smile. Just that. A single word, yet enough to turn an ordinary evening into a flood of emotion around the world. For ARMY, BTS's devoted fans, this wasn't just a random song reference. They knew. They always know. Moon isn't just any track. It's Jimin's song. Released in 2020 as part of the album Map of the Soul 7, it tells the story of someone who sees himself as the moon orbiting the earth, a metaphor for love, distance, and unwavering devotion. When Jungkook suddenly uttered that word, fans understood that this was not mere nostalgia. It was something deeper, a whisper wrapped in memory, a gesture small enough to be missed by some, but powerful enough to bring tears to those who followed their journey from the very beginning. After saying it, Jungkook chuckled softly, as if he knew the chaos that was about to unfold online. Then his expression softened. His gaze grew distant, almost tender, as though he were looking beyond the camera, towards someone only he could see. His voice lowered, barely more than a whisper. You know, sometimes someone doesn't need to be beside you to still be connected. Those words fell like a quiet bridge between two hearts that had long been understood without being spoken. To anyone listening closely, it felt as though Jungkook wasn't talking to the fans. He was talking to someone else. For weeks, Jimin had been at the center of online noise, accusations, rumors, and harsh comments that spread through social media like wildfire. Anonymous accounts twisted stories, turning misunderstandings into attacks. The air had grown heavy, yet Jungkook remained silent through it all.
No explanations, no statements.
And then came one word, Moon. No more, no less. And everyone understood. It was as if Jungkook had chosen silence not as avoidance, but as protection. He didn't need to say Jimin's name. He didn't have to defend him with words. The song itself was the defense, a symbol, a message, a promise. The fandom responded like a wave. Within minutes, hashtags like #JungkookMoonMoment and #JiminYourMoon trended globally. Comment sections overflowed with emotion. He still remembers him. One fan wrote, "Moon isn't just a song, it's a memory." Another said, "Jungkook never stopped supporting him, even in silence." That night, the world witnessed something far more powerful than an idol's casual mention of a song. They saw loyalty. They saw love in its purest, quietest form. The kind that doesn't need cameras or press releases. The kind that lives in the spaces between words. Fans who had followed BTS from their earliest days could recall countless moments that told the same story. A laugh backstage. The way Jimin would rest a hand on Jungkook's shoulder when he seemed nervous. How Jungkook's gaze would soften whenever Jimin spoke. Small things. Invisible threads that had been woven for over a decade. Each one forming the tapestry of a bond that had always felt deeper than friendship. What made that bond special wasn't how often it was shown, it was how naturally it existed. Music critics and longtime observers also began to interpret the moment. They described Jungkook's mention of Moon as a symbolic act of emotional healing, not just for Jimin, but for Jungkook himself. Both of them were known for their sensitivity to lyrics and their tendency to use music as language when words fail. By saying that single word in the midst of chaos, Jungkook seemed to be saying something else entirely. watching, that was perhaps the most beautiful form of support imaginable. Quiet, honest, and deeply human. Korean entertainment media quickly picked up the story. One article wrote, "Jungkook wasn't speaking to the public. He was speaking to someone he trusts." The piece went on to describe how, in an industry obsessed with image and noise, moments of genuine emotional intimacy like this are incredibly rare. And that's what made it so powerful. The next day, Jimin didn't release a statement either. He didn't mention Jungkook's name. He didn't clarify anything. Instead, he posted a single photo on Weverse, a simple picture of the night sky, a full moon hanging quietly above the horizon. Below it, a single caption, "Don't worry, everything's okay." That was it. No explanation needed. For ARMY, it was enough. It was their silent conversation, a dialogue spoken not in sentences, but in signs, in symbols, in songs. They had built their own language over the years, one that only they could fully understand. In the eyes of the world, it might seem mysterious or cryptic, but to those who had walked alongside BTS through the years, it was perfectly clear. What Jungkook and Jimin share is not for show. It's something real, something sacred. Their relationship has always been a balance between strength and gentleness, between courage and vulnerability, between sound and silence. They don't need to prove their affection in public. Every subtle gesture already tells a story. After the live broadcast, social media filled with messages of reflection and warmth. Many fans wrote about how that single word, moon, had healed something within them. It reminded them that beyond all the noise, there was still sincerity, still love, still light. Moon is not just a song, one post read. It's a reminder that even in distance, love remains constant. Days passed, but the ripples didn't fade. The clip of Jungkook mentioning moon continued to spread, reaching millions, becoming a quiet anthem of connection and empathy. In a fandom world that had lately been tense and divided, this one moment seemed to bring everyone together again. It was as if a small light had flickered back on in the darkness. Then came another small discovery. In a dance practice video released by HYB staff a few days later, fans noticed something subtle. Jungkook was wearing a silver bracelet with a small moon-shaped charm. It looked strikingly similar to the one Jimin had worn in a behind-the-scenes video from 2020. The fandom erupted once more. "That's not a coincidence," one major fanbase tweeted. "Jungkook never does anything without meaning." For casual observers, it might seem trivial, a piece of jewelry, nothing more. But for those who had followed every thread of their story, it was a continuation, another silent message, another proof of care expressed not in grand gestures, but in small, deliberate choices. And perhaps that is where the true beauty of their connection lies, in the quiet spaces. In a world where everything is broadcast, where every emotion is turned into content, Jungkook and Jimin have learned to protect the sacredness of what they share. They don't need to speak loudly to be understood. They speak in glances, in music, in the stillness between laughter. For ARMY, that has always been enough. Their bond is like the lyrics of Moon itself. They may not always be side by side, but they are forever orbiting each other. The Earth and the Moon, never touching, yet eternally bound by gravity and light. And maybe that's the message that lingered beneath Jungkook's quiet smile that night. That true love, true friendship, doesn't always need words. Sometimes, it's the silence that says everything. Sometimes, love is not declared, it's felt. Perhaps that is why this moment, so fleeting, so small, felt eternal. It wasn't just about Jungkook mentioning a song. It was about two souls who continue to find each other, even when the world tries to pull them apart. It was about faith, the kind that doesn't fade under scrutiny, the kind that survives distance, misunderstanding, and time. In the end, the story of Jungkook and Jimin is not a story of spectacle. It is a story of constancy, of unspoken promises, of a bond that moves quietly, like the orbit of the moon itself. And in a world that grows louder every day, their silence remains the most beautiful song of all, one that speaks of trust, loyalty, and love that transcends everything. If you enjoy enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe to our channel for the latest updates from the world of K-pop and BTS. Also, turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any other exciting updates. See you in the next video, and keep supporting your idols with